here today to talk about delivery of the body into a doorway to be able to shoot effectively into your corner. This is part of the principle and fundamental based CQB curriculum that we teach, but we want to show you it live. Now, we've done this a billion times. It's already on our YouTube, but in a little bit of a different way. We didn't have a target in the corner. We were talking about diving your corner and still turning to engage center targets. That was in our tape house video. So now we're going to put a target in the corner, and we're really going to focus in this video on the positions in the shoulder or out of the shoulder. You want to give them sort of the parameters and the disclaimer on that, Jay?
Yeah, so before you get all spun out of control, not you, but the viewers, man, because we get it. We want to make sure that you guys understand what we're showcasing here. We're isolating specific movements for the professional end user, such as yourselves, of simply bringing the gun out of the shoulder pocket, putting the gun underneath the armpit, or leaving the gun in your shoulder and entering the room from a 45 degree. What that means is you have to be able to manipulate your body and the gun through that threshold a certain way in order to get to that unknown corner, which is why we have that target downrange. We show, whenever you come to a class here, we teach a CQB, we're going to show you all three methods and let you, as the professional end user, decide on what method that you want to use. Now, there are pros and cons to all three, right? And we let you figure that out, because some have the capability to induce their own malfunctions when you go underneath the shoulder and this charging handle grabs your plate carrier. Entering the threshold from a 45, yes, the gun is in your shoulder pocket. However, when you go to step through, you're presenting your muzzle and usually the lead hand to that unknown corner before your eyes or your processor can see what's going on and make the decision to engage. So again, all three of them have pros and cons. The one over the shoulder, people don't like it because, oh, it's taking the gun out of your shoulder and you don't have a whole lot of control over the gun. True. However, like I said before, it's just manipulating the gun one of those three ways, or we're going to show you all three, as a matter of fact, both from a left-handed perspective and also a right-handed perspective on what that would look like. And we let you decide when you come to class. We're not going to show you, the right way. We're going to let you decide. I think that's most important, I think.
I agree. And on the left-handed, right-handed thing, Mitch, if you want an angle where they can see what we're talking about, we'll kind of show them what we're working with. This is our doorway. And when we talk about it being left or right-handed, we're always going to start in this position. On the beep of a shot timer is going to initiate our movement, and we're going to pass through this space as if it was a door, engaging that target with one round. The shot timer is there to tell us how much time did it take us, each as individuals, doing the same starting position, three different techniques with the same standard of accuracy, same distance and all that held equal. So it gives us a little bit of data. We probably have to rep it hundreds of times on each technique to get true data, but we're doing a 15-minute YouTube video to give you an idea. And the main difference on left and right shoulder is, for me, the door is on my left side and I'm left-handed, so my gun is automatically in the door sooner. And that's probably going to be reflected in the time, although Jason taught me pretty much everything I know, and he's faster than me, so we'll see. Even though he's right-handed and his gun's in his right shoulder crossing into a left side door, he may still be able to get shots on target faster. So another part of this is individual skill. Instead of me switching to my right shoulder to demo something, I'm basically useless on my right side, as most people are, even if they pretend to do cool shoulder swap stuff. We would rather have a true right-handed shooter and a true left-handed shooter demo, the sides being the difference. So what we're measuring here is not differences in individual skill. Does that make sense? Anything else on that? You think the disclaimers have been disclaimed?
No, I think we've explained what we're trying to isolate. And we're not shooting 3, 4, 5 rounds because, you got to shoot multiple rounds. That's not the purpose of the drill, gents or people. The purpose of the drill is just to manipulate our bodies with the guns through the threshold in three different ways to showcase you the methods of entry. Oftentimes what we see, guys going through the door, when we teach them this, the first thing that I see because it's uncommon behavior, the first thing I see is when guys get ready to go through that doorway. Again, this gun has been cleared, right? It is nothing more than a paperweight. The first thing we see is when guys go through the doorway, they'll do this right here and then present the gun. Well, that's not a method of entry. You're going through the doorway at low port, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to show you three different methods to try to help you deliver your body through the doorway in a much more efficient, timely manner, be able to get those shots on target much sooner.
I'm going to have my laser on the whole time, and what that's going to give you as the viewer is a little more data on where my muzzle's actually pointed the entire time. It keeps me accountable as well. We kind of don't want the weapon to not be pointed in a lethal zone. I don't want it to be down at the ground. I don't want it to be up at the ceiling like Jason just demonstrated. So the camera angle is going to be from the back over here. You're going to be able to see when we cross through this plane, where the laser is pointed, what we're doing. And I'm going to start off with what I know best, which is over the shoulder, and then I'll do the 45, and then I'll do under the shoulder. You cool with that?
Yeah, and we'll take a look at the time and see where you're at, on each particular method that we can compare them with numbers, because numbers don't lie. All right, get set up on the doorway. Remember, we always set up the foot closest to the door frame as lead. The other foot, remember, we're going to try to step that in the middle of the doorway to help deliver that gun through that threshold. Yep. All right. Shooter, ready? Shooter says he's ready. Stand by. It didn't register, of course. I may have to move with you up there.
Okay.
We'll try that again.
Try it again.
It's probably going to get reverberation here, and who knows when it'll stop.
Who knows when it's going to show,
inside.
yeah.
Yep.
These Huxworks cans are so good, too, that it doesn't pick stuff up.
They do be working.
They do be
They
silent,
do be huxing.
quiet.
All right,
ready?
shooter ready. We'll try it again.
Yep.
Stand by. Wow. Have that removed, okay? Just remove it. Just remove that.
My super durable Arc'teryx sleeve destroyed our wall. Did it pick up the time?
Yeah, it did, actually.
I'll just step wider.
That was a 169, by the way, with a faux pas at the door.
That ain't bad.
Yeah. I mean, you blundered the door, but you got through it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have actually mattered in real life because my sleeve would have just gone against the wall. So
Let's try that again.
third time's the fucking charm, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, like my man Will said, the road to hell is paved with live demos.
Hey, bro. And this is all good data, right?
Yeah, and it's good fun,
It is.
Shooter ready.
Yep.
Stand by. 179. Let's try it again. Shooter ready.
Yeet.
Stand by. 178. Nice. One more time.
Consistent.
Consistent. Shooter ready. Stand by. 183.
All right.
What you probably, some of the viewers aren't noticing, is that he is not prepping the safety out here. He is not prepping the safety in the doorway. He is manipulating the safety, because I don't know if the camera picked it up, but I picked it up. The safety came off right here because he PID'd his target. He made the conscious decision to engage, so he swept the safety, pressed the trigger on that target. Not prematurely, not out here, not in the doorway. I cannot stand when people say, this is my safety, or we run with the guns on fire inside of a CQB monitor. That's terrible.
And I told everyone I'd have my laser on, then I didn't turn it on. We'll do it again.
All right. So the purpose of the laser, gents, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that we're able to determine where that gun is being pointed. And you'll notice it's over there, right, because he's angled in. So we're trying to deliver that gun as quickly as humanly possible to that target. Shooter ready.
Yep.
Stand by. 176. 176. Consistent.
All right, now let's try from the 45. Key point here, guys, is that instead of being almost to the wall here, I'm going to be out to here. Okay, so now look where the laser is. I'm at a 45 off of the door. So that would be 90, right? This is 45.
So what's the purpose, what's the theory behind doing that right there?
Come on down here, viewers. You have to change the length of the rifle on some plane. And when you put meat behind it, like Jason already said, this is unacceptable, this is unacceptable. Doing a slinky like we've been doing is acceptable. So now we're going to take the gun and put it into the 45. And I'm not going to muzzle y'all, y'all are good. So from here, I can simply walk through and sweep over. The problem that we have is, one, if I've done a pie or a pan, I'm having to come back off the wall to a 45 and re-look at material I've already deemed clear. Also, the first thing to come through at this 45-degree angle is this. I'm not through the door yet, and then I'm finding him. So the timing is really important here. CQB is about action versus reaction. Giving that guy my muzzle and my leading hand for a half second is a lot. So if you're going to do the 45 offset, you got to be quick. So we'll see. It might even be quicker than the other one. But it's also got way more overexposure than the other one. So we'll see how it goes.
That's the pros and cons we talked about. All right. So you were consistent about a 178 and what 176, 178, 179, and he went 187. So
yeah.
So about 178, 179, be consistent. All right. Shoulders in the, there we go, 45. Shooter ready.
Yep.
Stand by. That was a 168.
Thought it might be a little faster because I'm doing less dwell in the door, but I'm leading with my muzzle instead of my entire body showing up at once.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Agreed.
Let me see something real quick too. We talk about in our delivery videos with footwork, and you look at my feet real quick, Mitch, it's important that y'all note, if I stand like this, I can simply walk through. It doesn't change with the 45 offset. And I know this isn't a footwork video, but it's the same thing. Boom, my leading shoulder's in the room. So that's what I'm doing. It's the same footwork. I'm just off it and offset. Cool? Let's run it again.
Yep. Oh, wow. For your viewing pleasure.
Chick-fil-A.
Stand by. 178.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm able to get a little bit closer to that.
It's kind of what and what.
Yep. One more time. One more time. All right. So notice he's moving at the same speed. We're not increasing anything. We're just changing the angle at the threshold. Shooter ready? Stand by.
I threw that one too.
147. That was quick.
So quick. I didn't get the. He was like, "We're not changing anything. We're gonna do it the same." I was like, "Bet." So on this one, if you guys are not familiar with target framing, mechanical aiming with the frame of the optic, on this one, instead of getting full sight confirmation, I just put the top of the window here on the PV3 or the LP1 across his shoulders and pressed. And I'm driving in right to left. So why do y'all think it broke early? That's right. Without full confirmation of where the dot is, that slight deviation in presentation, the first round hit him more in the shoulder. So I wouldn't take that extra speed as just being on the technique, changing the way I'm aiming and using the optic frame. Let's talk about that real quick. Can you come get like over the shoulder? I'm gonna turn the optic off. Play the Jeopardy music when you edit this. There it goes. You gotta hold it forever. So I'm literally, all I'm doing, can you get like right behind the optic? I'm putting this across his shoulders. All right, now let's see where the round lands. All right, so you see it's slightly off, but that's with no dot at, 10 yards. Now if I turn it on, what I have to do, there we go. If I turn it on, and again I'm presenting from here, I gotta find that dot, and then I'm able to put it exactly where I want. So if your optic goes down, if you're trying to be just like super fast on your first round, as long as the optic is framing him, you're gonna be center mass, but we want to be in that circle for it to really count. Does that make sense? So anyway, quick tidbit on optic framing aiming, which is something we show in class. We do under the arm now?
I guess.
Okay. My least favorite by far, not just because it's what the Navy does, but because it sucks. Just kidding. It's got its merits. The problem that we have is with these big charging handles that we use, tucking it under the arm, if you don't come out and off, it is going to catch and take it out of battery. So one thing that we teach is to take the elbow, marry it to the stock, bring the arm out and away, and then ride the gun up at the shoulder. So it's added movement. The real pro of having it under your shoulder is weapon retention.
Yeah.
If there's somebody right there in that corner ready to fight me or grab me, they can't just manipulate the end of my muzzle and move it around.
Let me go back to that too, because
Please.
When we go over the shoulder, what some of the viewers may have seen, when you go over the shoulder, you still have a view of the optic, right? So you can still PID things that are going on. So
check this out.
A lot of the reasons why we like this one is because the optic is right in line with the eyeball. Yeah. So for some people, going underneath the shoulder when they go to presentation, they don't have a secondary aiming system like a laser or what have you to be able to justify doing this. And what we see a lot of times is when we train police officers, they don't train other ways of presenting the rifle. It's typically just in the shoulder upload presentations. When you do this on the range or with your department or whatever, you have to vet those techniques and say, hey, why are we doing this particular technique? Well, we don't do this one because we don't have a secondary aiming system like you do, and like I do.
And you better not be doing something in the shoot house that you don't qualify on the range. So,
right. So
this better be part of your qualification.
And I think that you mentioned that, hey, what we do in the shoot house translates to the range and vice versa. They mirror one another.
Same thing with optic framing, right? If you shoot using the frame of the optic, have that on your qual. Hey, everybody, turn your dot off, 3 rounds to the torso. Cool, part of your qual, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just like any modern red dot course is going to teach you. If the red dot goes down, frame it with the optic. So hopefully we've got all those wiggles out the way. Now, what we'll do is again, I'm going to bring it. I'm not going to throw any wrenches in it. I'm going to bring it up to my eye to shoot, and that is the time that we're testing.
Yep. So going underneath the armpit, yeah?
Underneath the armpit, a little more tight on the angle, foot forward. On the beep, I'm going to compress and move.
All righty. Shooter ready.
Ready as I'll fucking ever be.
192.
Extra movement.
192, extra movement.
But I was safe if we had a knife fight. Fighting pirates or whatever.
178.
That was not bad. I really tried to speed it up, but I also hit the frame.
You also hit the door frame, yeah? Make my door erect. Give it the old knife hand.
Like a Navy seaman.
All right, here we go. Shooter ready. Stand by. Didn't catch it, but you also caught the door.
One more time.
Let's try not to catch the door this time.
The problem that you're going to run into on these types of movements is that you have to get wide.
Yep.
So part of why I started to step out to here is because look at what happens to the width of me when I go to put it under my arm. My elbows have to go out. Especially because the second I'm able to, I want to present. So if I'm stepping through, I want to start presenting, and I'm like, I'm about to fucking take flight over here with my double chicken wings. So anyway, I'm going to try it a little wider this time.
Okay, roger that.
So I'm more at the 45 now.
Shooter ready. Stand by. 197.
Yeah, so not running into the fucking doorway puts me in more like 2 seconds, so it's about 0.4 slower. Now people will say, well, why don't you shoot from the close quarters position? Okay, so what I'm going to do is if I see the target, instead of taking the time to go from here to here into my eye, I'm going to fire with the laser from here, and we'll see what the time difference is.
But it's going to be a little more faster.
Again, don't do this unless you have a laser. You have a laser qualification, and this is something that's appropriate for your use case.
169.
Closer to what it was with everything else.
169. 165.
So under the shoulder with a laser, same accuracy level, and it's just as fast as keeping it in the shoulder or taking it out and over the shoulder. So the difference here is distance and economy of motion. If I got to go from here to shoot, and I don't have an aiming laser, maybe that's not the best technique for time on target. Anything to add?
Everything takes time.
Yeah. All right. If you want to get set up, Jay, we'll do the right-handed side.
All righty.
You got your maul on?
I can.
I mean, as long as your windlass didn't break, since they're fragile.
Well.
Since they're inferior to the end goal.
Battery would be dead.
Don't tell Instagram.
Yep.
Don't tell Instagram.
Battery's dead.
Battery's
Probably
dead?
got turned on in my box because they spin.
Oh, does it have a parasitic drain that other lasers don't have?
It do, in fact. I don't need a laser anyway. You know why?
I've said my piece. You'll be all right.
You said your piece?
I've said my piece. In-gall master race. You ready? 1-3. So a solid 36 faster than me, even with his shoulder being further away. Now, what did I tell y'all? Dude's been doing it since I was in diapers. So even at a higher skill level, or even with his shoulder being 2 feet further away, he's shooting almost half a second faster. So maybe it's more about your skill level and not about like, you should switch shoulders because this one Israeli guy does that. No, just get good. Ready?
Yep. A little low on that one.
1-4?
A little low. Still in the bowling pin, but I'm a little low.
Yeah, still in the red.
Good news is I would use that as a
Yeah. You want to do a 3-round string?
Yeah, I'll do one more.
All right, we'll do one more and it'll be 3 rounds this time, gents.
Yep.
On the beat. Well, it was 1-4, so never mind. It wasn't a 3-round string.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant 3 evolutions of the same thing.
No, 3 rounds on the same
Oh,
run.
okay. Yeah, I can definitely speed up the finger a little bit.
Because what'll happen is you'll start the rounds more of like optic framing, and then you'll work up into the dot.
Certainly. We'll see what this looks like. You want 3 rounds on this?
3 rounds on this evolution on the target. Yep.
Yeah, imagine if you spoke clearly.
Yeah, well, I learned from the best.
Somebody's gonna pay for this liquid leaking from my face. Yep.
Beautiful. It only picked up 1.46, so I don't know where
shot.
that was in the string.
Oh,
but
okay.
That first shot was solid.
All right.
All right, so now let's do from the 45, so it stays in the shoulder the whole time.
It just needed to warm up a little bit.
We had to make a sacrifice to the transformer penis gods.
You were like, hey, I bet I'll talk dirty to it and it'll come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. It likes humiliation.
It's working
Yeah.
now.
What's that movie, the little Chinese guy? He's like, she laughs at your nakedness, but you keep coming back for more. You don't remember that?
No, you're
Okay.
silly.
All right, no worries.
All right.
That's kind of how the mall is. Step out to the 45.
Oh, man.
You could probably cheat it a little more.
Which way?
Yeah, a little more out towards me.
This?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
were
see
more like
anything in
a
that
30.
corner. Okay, so I'm still I'm not gonna use my laser as the
Right.
the time to shoot. I'm gonna use the dot like normal.
Still
but I'm-
using the dot. The laser's just
Yep.
for the students.
Okay.
Can you all see? Cool. On the beep, sir.
Uh-huh.
158. So a solid 0.3, 0.2 slower.
I'll see if I can speed up my footwork a little bit.
Go. 154. So proper diagnosis, proper trigger press, accountability to the dot, and it only added 0.1 second,
Okay.
which is really just the movement, I would guess.
So now we gotta go under the arm?
Under the arm.
You want this on still?
Yeah, we want that on still, because that way you can see just how awful this is. I mean, just how feasible it could be if you trained a lot.
Okay, under the arm, but I'm still using the dot, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So on the beep, under the arm, through the door, back up into the shoulder to fire. Stand by. 1.8, like I said.
Yep.
Yeah. Try it with the laser as your aiming device.
Okay.
So just shoot from under the arm,
All right, roger that.
like I did on the last. That's what we ended with for me.
Okay.
So shooting now from under the arm, using the laser on the beep. 2, flat.
So what did we learn from all that?
Quite a bit, I think. I would say that the summary would be, no matter what you do, you can get a relatively similar performance level. You just have to train a lot on it. I would say that the obvious con of under the arm is that if you don't have an aiming laser, you have a long way to bring the gun up. So it's inherently slower without an aiming laser. If you do have an aiming laser, that needs to be a part of your training, firing from a compressed position. If we're going to talk about over the shoulder versus into the 45, the only difference, because the times were pretty consistent, the only difference is the amount of exposure before you get to that shot. So if it takes from the decision to launch 1.5 seconds on over the shoulder, it takes from the decision to launch 1.5 seconds from it being in the shoulder, speed of delivery is no longer the issue. The issue is exposure. And in that 1.5 seconds of getting through the door, seeing the target presenting and deciding to shoot, if I was exposed as the enemy for a half second longer in one of those options, which one would you pick? Probably the one with less exposure. So you should also vet this force on force. If we've decided that in a live fire setting it's the same, now I need to try it when I have opposition that's skilled and see, like, hey, is he able to shoot me sooner on one of these? You cannot just do live fire stuff and expect that to be the only factor that matters when it comes to doing this. You have to also do it force on force. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Anything else to add on that?
No, man, get out there and train, man. You got to vet these techniques for yourselves. Get to some classes. If they're not teaching you a multitude of ways to do things, it's probably not too bueno.
And just remember too, especially if you teach, that you're human. If you don't do stuff live and you don't have small mistakes on stuff, you're probably not actually demoing anything. And there are instructors who don't demo stuff. They just tell you about it. And they're basically stealing your money. So if you've never had your instructor throw a shot and then explain why it happens, you're probably missing out on some quality instruction. Most of the classes I've been
We're
to,
human, man. I mean,
that's
mistakes
how it
happen.
is. You have to
learn from it and then evolve.
Yeah, you can't put an unrealistic expectation on yourself. So, my optic framing shot was a little off. Jason trying to chase that dot a little faster, and he was dot focused, not target focused. He was a little off. He knows that, can recognize it, now he can go fix it and dry fire it, and that's the key from all this, is train, identify your mistakes, and then go fix them. That's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. If you want to come out to one of our classes, we have a ton of firearms instruction courses. Jason teaches a lot. Rob Epifania teaches a lot. Stuffs and Pews on IG teaches a lot. Blake We have people all up and down the East Coast. Joe teaches almost exclusively firearms courses in North Carolina. OrionTrainingGroup.com. Check that out. We teach American citizens. I don't care if you're law enforcement, military. I don't care if you flip burgers or you're a lawyer or you drive a trash truck. I don't give a shit. The Second Amendment says you have the right to learn all this stuff. So we love y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you in a course.
Word.
You want me to clap?
Not with your hands, with your ass cheeks.
I probably could, actually.
Please do not. Please do not try or demo or show us any of that disturbing behavior. Because if you're able to do it, I'd...
Fatherless activities, huh?